Ballymenny Stud, Newbridge, County Kildare, Tuesday, February 8th, 1983, approximately 8:30 in the evening. In a stone stable at the back of the yard, Shergar stands. He is a 5-year-old bay colt. He has 4 white socks and a wide white blaze. The 1981 Epsom Derby winner, the most valuable racehorse in the world. Fog has settled low over the Curragh. Frost has crusted the cobbled yard. A single light burns in the kitchen window of the head groom's cottage. Inside, James Fitzgerald sits with his wife and their 5 children. A vehicle has stopped in the lane. On March 3, 1978, Shishun, the Aga Khan IV's private stud at the edge of the Curragh, foaled Shergar. His sire, great-nephew. His dam, Charmine by Val de Loire. At 2, Michael Stout sent him to his yard at Freemason Lodge, Newmarket. June 3, 1981, the 202nd Epsom Derby. Walter Swinburne, age 19, in the saddle. Shergar won by 10 lengths, the longest winning margin in the race's history. Peter Bromley, in the commentary box, said that they would need a telescope to find the field. The Irish Derby, 4 lengths. The King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes at Ascot, 4 lengths. 4th at Doncaster in the St. Leger, his only defeat. 8 starts, 6 wins. £436,000 in prize money. He retired to Ballymenny in October. The Aga Khan turned down American offers. Instead, he syndicated the colt at home. He sold 40 shares for £250,000 each. This valued the colt at £10 million, a record. In 1982, he covered 44 mares. 36 foals were born. The second season was due to begin in February 1983. The starter's gun. The knock comes at 8:30. 3 masked men force the door of the head groom's cottage. Behind them, more wait in the lane. 6, as many as 9. They carry arms. They speak in a rapid manner. They name the horse. James Fitzgerald, age 53, head groom at Ballymenny for more than 2 decades, is taken at gunpoint. His wife and 5 children are locked into a downstairs room. Fitzgerald has walked 30 paces across the frozen yard to Shergar's box. The horse is let out and loaded into a waiting trailer. The trailer is hitched to a Ford. The convoy moves off into the fog. Fitzgerald is bundled into a separate van, hooded and driven in circles for hours. He is released on a country road near Kilcock, 20 miles from Ballymenny. He is warned not to contact Gardaí. His family, the man says, will pay for it. Fitzgerald walks to the nearest phone box and calls his brother. His brother calls the stud. The stud manager, Guilain Drian, a French national in his first weeks on the job, calls Paris. He calls the vet. He calls a government minister. He does not call the Gardaí. Not yet. By the time the first squad car finally turns in at the Ballymenny gate, a full 8 hours have passed. Chief Superintendent James Spud Murphy of the Gardaí takes command from Newbridge. He wears a trilby. He speaks slowly. At his first press conference, asked what the investigation has so far, he answers, "A clue? That is something we haven't got." The line travels the world by morning. At peak, 80 officers are on the case. Checkpoints rise across County Kildare, into Dublin, north to the border. Within 48 hours, Interpol is notified. The FBI is consulted. Scotland Yard is consulted. None of it matters. The forensic problem is structural. In 1983, no laboratory in Europe can identify a horse from its DNA. The technology does not exist. A bay colt with 4 white socks could cross any road in Ireland. On the day of the kidnap, 20,000 horse boxes traveled the country's roads. The Goff sale had seen to that. Jurisdiction divides the file. Dublin and Kildare officers declined to share notes. Scores of interviews in the first days. No suspects named, no vehicles traced, no eyewitness beyond Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald had been hooded for most of the night. The syndicate, frantic, brings in a psychic. The Gardaí, frantic, bring in a diviner. The press, notice. 6 photographers turn up at Murphy's next conference wearing trilbies. The theory hardens by midweek. The scale of the organization is clear. They borrowed a Ford. They practiced extracting a hostage. The silence on the wire stands out. This pattern matches how the Provisional IRA operates on people, not horses. The Gardaí know, the syndicate knows, London knows. No one says it on the record. The IRA does not claim it. The IRA will never claim it. The demand arrived on the 3rd day. The first ransom demand arrives on February 11th, £2 million, roughly $3 million. The calls go through the Aga Khan's office in Paris. They reach 3 journalists. The kidnappers named them. They are Derek Thompson from ITN, John Oaksey is from the Sunday Telegraph, Peter Campling works at The Sun. The caller identifies himself by a code phrase, King Neptune. The syndicate demands proof of life. The kidnappers send Polaroids of a horse's head beside a copy of the Irish News dated February 11th. The markings are obscured. The newspaper's date cannot be independently verified. Stan Cosgrove, the syndicate vet, is sent to a Dublin hotel to collect further evidence. Special Branch is visible in the lobby. The kidnappers do not appear. The 35 shareholders cannot agree. Sir Jake Astor, "We were going to negotiate, but we were not going to pay." Lord Derby agrees. American shareholders plead to pay anything. By the 4th day, demands grow erratic. The final call comes through Jeremy Maxwell's home in Bali. "If our demands are not satisfied, that's it." After the 4th day, the calls stopped. After the final call on February 14th, no further communication, no body, no grave, no claim. The Provisional IRA never confirms what most of Ireland privately concludes. Years pass, theories harden. In 1999, Sean O'Callaghan published The Informer. He was a former IRA Southern commander and a Garda informer. He describes an internal operation that panicked when the cult became uncontrollable. Shergar, he says, was killed days after the kidnap. His remains were buried in unmarked ground in the Irish Midlands. Other former volunteers privately corroborate the broad outline. The Gardaí quietly adopt this as their working conclusion by the early 2000s. No one is ever charged, no one is ever named on the record. In 2018, the BBC broadcasts Searching for Shergar. The same year, Milton C. Toby publishes Taking Shergar. The Aga Khan IV's syndicate absorbs the loss. About 40% of the £10 million valuation is recovered via Lloyd's of London. The Aga Khan IV himself dies on February 4th, 2025, age 88. As of April 2026, the case officially remains open. Back to Ballymanny. Ballymanny Stud, Newbridge, County Kildare. A cold winter evening. The fog has not changed. The frost on the cobbled yard has not changed. A single light still burns in the kitchen window of the head groom's cottage. The cottage holds another family now. The stud still operates. Mares still arrive each spring. Foals are still born in the boxes at the back of the yard. One of those boxes has stayed empty for 43 years. The horse who stood in it that night was a bay colt with 4 white socks and a wide white blaze. His name was Shergar. He never returned. No body was ever found. No conviction was ever secured. The race was never finished.